All right, welcome back to the new Sentinel. Today we're diving into the legend and legacy of Ozzy Osbourne. Now, for those who don't know, Ozzy, real name John Michael Osbourne, was born in Birmingham, England, back in 1948. He co-founded Black Sabbath in '68, and well, the rest is history. But it's not just about the music, is it? The man's life was a real roller coaster. Addiction, injuries, Parkinson's. He faced it all, and somehow he kept coming back. That's what made him more than just a rock star.
Yeah, Chikwuka, you nailed it. I mean, Ozzy's story is one of grit. He got knocked down, sometimes literally, with those spinal injuries and all the stuff he put his body through, but he always got back up. That's the kind of resilience you don't see every day. And, the way he was open about his struggles with addiction and Parkinson's, it made him human, not just some untouchable icon.
Absolutely, Ethan. And I think it's important to remember how public he was about his suffering. For so long, artists, especially men, were expected to hide their pain. Ozzy didn't. He talked about his substance abuse, his health, and that vulnerability changed how people saw him. It made it okay for others to talk about their own struggles too. That's a kind of legacy that goes beyond music.
I gotta share this. Back in the '80s, I was a kid in Nigeria, and I found this battered cassette tape. It was Black Sabbath. I didn't even know what heavy metal was, but that sound, man, it was like nothing I'd ever heard. It just cut through. Ozzy's voice, that rawness, it reached all the way across the world. That's the power of music, and the power of Ozzy. He wasn't just a British or American thing. He was global. And honestly, that's why we're still talking about him now.
Yeah, Chukwuka, that's wild. I mean, I always think of Ozzy as this, force of nature. Dude had his demons, but he never hid from them. He just kept pushing. That's something I respect, military or not. You get knocked down, you get back up. That's the mission. Ozzy lived that every day. So let's talk about the music. Black Sabbath, man. They basically invented heavy metal. Songs like Iron Man, Paranoid, Crazy Train. Those are like the national anthems for anyone who ever picked up a guitar and wanted to make some noise. Ozzy's voice, his whole vibe, it set the tone for what metal was supposed to be. Dark, loud, a little bit scary, but also kind of fun, you know?
Yeah, and then you got the whole bat biting thing. I mean, that's the story everyone knows, right? But what's wild is how he went from being this shock rocker, parents freaking out, all that, to being America's favorite TV dad on the Osbournes. That's a heck of a pivot. He made it okay for metalheads to be, normal people, or at least relatable.
That's true. I mean, the Osbournes was a game changer. Suddenly you see this guy who was supposed to be the Prince of Darkness, and he's just trying to figure out the remote control, yelling at his kids. It broke down a lot of walls, and, it made people realize that even the wildest rock stars have families, have problems, have, real lives.
And I think what's really significant is how Ozzy's openness about his addiction and illness changed the conversation about mental health, especially for artists, and especially for people who felt like outsiders. He showed that you could be vulnerable and still be strong. For marginalized voices, that's huge. It's like, if Ozzy can talk about his pain, maybe I can too. It's a shift we're still seeing in music and media today.
Yeah, Olga, and it's not just about the music or the TV show. It's about how he made it okay to be different. He took what people thought was weird or scary and made it mainstream. That's a real kind of leadership, if you ask me.
So let's talk about Ozfest. That festival wasn't just a concert, it was a movement. Ozzy and Sharon created a space for all these fringe metal bands, the ones who didn't fit in anywhere else. It gave them legitimacy, a real community, and it changed how the industry looked at metal. Suddenly, it wasn't just noise, it was a business, a culture, a family.
Yeah, and you look at how Ozzy was represented in the media. He was both the demonic rocker and the loving father. That duality, it challenged a lot of stereotypes. People had to rethink what a rock star could be. He wasn't just one thing, and that's something the industry's still grappling with. How to let artists be complicated, be real.
I gotta jump in here. My first rock concert was Ozfest 97 down in Texas. I remember thinking, man, this is wild. So many different kinds of people all coming together for the music, and Ozzy was at the center of it. Even now, you see his influence and how artists brand themselves, how they connect with fans. He made it okay to be weird, to be open, to be yourself. That's a legacy that's going to stick around for a long time.
Yeah, and you see it with the younger crowd, too. My nephew's into all these new metal bands, and they all talk about Ozzy like he's the godfather. He set the standard for what it means to build a brand, to own your story. That's not just music, that's leadership, plain and simple.
And it's not just about the music industry. Ozzy's story is about breaking barriers, about showing that you can be more than what people expect. That's something we need more of in every field.
All right, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Ozzy Osbourne, legend, disruptor, survivor. His legacy is going to be with us for a long time, whether you're a metalhead or not. Thanks for joining us on the New Sentinel. Ethan, Olga, Duke, always a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks everyone. This was a good one. Rest in peace, Ozzy.
Thank you all, and thank you, Ozzy, for showing us the power of being real. Until next time.
Yeah, good talk, folks. Catch you all next episode. Out.